Hello, species value nature system. YouTuber Anthony Wall, aka Romulus. This is about the value numbers. 1 at 1 to the right of 0, 1 at 10 to the left of 0, and 3 are the value numbers. 3 natures of 0 are the nature numbers. Together, they are the value nature numbers. As the identity of space, invisible but still discernible, and as the identity of forever, invisible but still discernible, and as an identity that they share simultaneously as their value, and as the value of their identity, what is all values individually grouped and together are in demonstration of, and of the value of that. And as our nature of volumes, nature of relationship to itself, that is positive or negative. This is how we are a quality of diffusion humanity, where the diffusion of what we are is identity's course per science. This is why every identity of value is an identity of value through science. See where the identity, the sciences share, they share simultaneously, sequentially, differentially, in relationship to the simultaneous nature and demonstration to us that the ancients revealed. Following its order in nature of value progression, science causes evolution. It reveals evolution. It reveals the answer not only to students' questions, but their needs. Long this pleads, not let free speech. Offensively, knowing it, everyone was gonna be self-valuing. No free speech with others. For their reactions to what is sustained quality of fact sheet nature containment and exploitation within as that nature from and as the value of that base as that quality of identity of relationship to the ground ties to our quality of fact sheet nature actively and progressively as 3 natures of volume. The sexes, why there are sexes, why there is cell division as exceptions, as exception nature, is all in demonstration of the same thing about how there are 3 natures of volume that are only increasing, inherent, active, and progressive, and 2 other semi natures that are with that. The Trinity, before matter was bonded, is about the identity of space, the identity of forever, distinct and non-distinct as complete identities, also with a semi-nature relationship to the simultaneous nature that is the complete value of the identity of forever, while being its own identity, and while being the complete value of space, while being its own identity, and while being the identity of those 3 volumes at once, and a little bit more, because it was a little bit more since before that. And that little bit more gains while that gains. The bigger and more magnitude space has, the more its complete nature of volume has, which is inseparable from itself. This is stronger than the order to that takes that nature of might to deal with and control the finite. This is stronger than the order that we have control over the what is active. This is stronger than we have control over what is progressive. This is what causes positive or negative value nature progressions. Really, this is what leads quote unquote this is what leads legislation. Or nature continues to demonstrate negative value nature progressions, acts, and nature is recorded, already self-valued, blamed on other things, others themselves, and that hid from, and plotted, doing worse to hide their life progressions, to hide free speech, to keep it hurt each age, appreciating how that is maintained, the outcome. We have our nation, the phenomenon of nations grouped individually and together as a species bonded. So needing to travel, communicate, but per and as in nature and value nature system tactical ulterior. I mean that these are our tactical ulterior from semi-ancient times for the organized crime method that used color. They used a whole bunch of slavery laws against white people that built a shock and awe that they maintain everyone who doesn't see age of fact treatment nature as a victim predator told to get a job and to be a value of it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And when it's what you know, it's what you know. So in other words, we have recorded that and how correlation nature with integrity of real sequence nature integrity, real inherent active and progressive integrity with fact treatment nature quality, relationship to the problems with shootings in areas. Whole bunch of natures of problems at once. See, they recorded in a fact treatment nature syndrome just because the outcome of things are certain things. They're blaming on other things other than themselves. They're valuing sustained what they can use to justify blaming on other because they're going to have keep having the outcome. They're going to have actors that are victims who are state victim predators. These are also fact cheaping nature rackets. One time they had a kid walk in front of me and put his head down. A lot of kids would have punched him because before that, I was punched right in the same location. They were timing where I was walking. They were showing how they're orchestrating. See, these are branches of government recorded in collusion with overt criminal enterprises and private ones, long perfected within city, with overtly criminal and with juxtaposed insidiously in criminal intercampuses crime rolls of each age of campus in each town and intercities connected ways. Each nature of campus, each age of campus connected ways. Crime methods that are then exploited through times. Because we have what is the phenomenon of what they call here and there the intelligence community. See, when we have people that we need to travel back and forth and stuff, these are people involved with not just business, but the policing of those business and disputes and resolutions roles where fact treatment nature originally instilled. Well, the value of those are fake sides of correlation nature. For an organized crime method that is preventing free speech, that is torturing since before those natures of sophistication. With all those, the only sophistication that we have and that other modern nations have is all abridged from roles that was in that already self-valued in layers what you can't defend and not blame the real causes of negative value nature progressions accident natures on other things other than self. That's the organized crime method. This is completely a fact treatment nature record. They say when they keep repeating through generations, oh, now white is going to be the minority. That's because they're all victim predators, fake sides. In other words, that's the trap. That's the one that doesn't admit right now. What really is, in other words, these are nations that are grouped rightfully because by our nature, but now they're grouped another way sick. Criminally foreign influence statutes here and there. Criminally foreign influence zoning laws involved with the torture of our founders. They stole our founders' identities. They have that glorified overtly and simultaneously, insidiously at the same time. In other words, fake care, fake righteous aggression, sustained. And that's exploited for a whole bunch of roles with live progressions originally having and still valued sickly, distinctly, and non-distinctly in an adaptive way through generations. They say, oh, it's just the next generation. These are sick natures with the schools because these are time treatments for natures of job, natures of, that's our class. We focus on this subject. Everything's connected. These are natures of child abuse that keep self-valued with it. Oh, that's legislation. That's how the processes work. That's not what we're going to do is this. What we need to do as a species, especially one nation. If one nation will do this, we'll put up pantheism. You know, just I'm already on here. So in other words, put it someplace down. Tell the people about it. We'll make it so we'll write the book, and then no one will own the book. It'll be for the resources that everyone's going to agree. So we're going to try to do everything as cheap as possible, but not cheap. Way better. We're going to look at this as a tactically denatured relationship to nature, which is native pure. In other words, so we have positions of millions of people that are unfathomable at once, and where and how and as we have homeless at the same time, and where and as and how we have the people that are need to care for them with those databases, not by accident, involved with interbranch offensive federal crime rackets, crime methods recorded, crime natures recorded like criminal and citizens natures, wrongdoing, predicate acts, like including trade center ones. Whole bunch of world nations with natures of justice systems that share criminality with psychology, with mental diagnosis, with them, with theories, and with them involved also with criminality on a mass scale all at once. See, these opinion natures, criminally foreign influence delusions, all victim predators at once. So we have to have people to fathom and discern how there's going to be simultaneous natures of reliefs. People involved with investments, all the industries. This person's this kind of job. This person just dealing with market money. This we're going to invest people. We have to do securities. We have to know how to pay. So all that you can't see was separate. Leaving this out from that, you can't defend yourselves. You can't. No one can. In other words, we have means to focus, and we have the word healthcare. We have words like medicine recorded involved with a whole bunch of left self-valued federal crime methods and natures because of the natures of crimes that the branches are involved with other nations, also with juxtaposed overt criminal enterprises, also with private ones still, like especially psychology, sociology, the training of all the things, because these are sciences that respect each other's convictions, all abridged. Fact cheating nature racket rolls with sub rosa active and progressive physical delusions and criminally foreign influence quality of fact cheating nature originally and still. See, if free speech had been allowed then and now, for example, regarding Jim Crow laws, then would have been revealed the organized crime method actually recorded. People wouldn't be playing entertaining black and white with narratives. People wouldn't be entertaining huge interstates grouped rights. If you have the right interstate to be coordinated to be a group right, which I'm trying to do here, then you have the right to demonstrate how there is pseudo, there's a quality of fact cheaping nature that's fake positive, intersciences, interbranch at the same time. I just remind, interprivate, interlocations, therefore long lie progressions pretending other from their formal fact treatments in relationship to correlation nature that can discern that worse than criminally incompetent. For example, even with Hartford, Connecticut, especially regarding Hartford, Connecticut, For example, regarding the nature of impositions on people in New York City, sickly, distinctly, and non-distinctly every spot. Same exact way, sickly, distinctly, and non-distinctly every location in America, every location in Russia. See how we have the pathology of homes that was forced with the organized crime method, fact treatment, nature, slavery of our founders. You know, it's not right to call them Uncle Toms, but they were more that than what they're glorified as. They would rather be called Uncle Toms than be glorified for the fake. You know, they put up the Constitution. That doesn't mean they have free speech. That doesn't mean they had their identities weren't stolen. People weren't just writing other in databases. Whole bunch of nations groups sick. Everyone pretend only the identity of England is here, or fear. It all fear. It levels depths. But speak anyway. That's logic's course. Make positive out of negative. This is the devil's course to conquer here. As one, modern nations each let means begun. This teaches each modern nation has the same untapped resource of this way of telling our nation's histories. We can begin right now. I'll train you. America, we could do this. Then we all buy the book, and we have that means. And more than that, all four focused. Everything only what's going to be evolution's course, which is this identities of value progression's identity of relationship to itself. Its complete nature of relationship to itself. That will, if we do it right, this reveals the evolution's fruits and gifts. Please read the Santa Claus fake branches. Long the seed below your stance. It lifts. Please fall. Please all stand back down from them. You can't walk. Well, so these three values, the cell nucleus, the cell body, and the cell wall, and their connections. This is this complete identity of relationship to itself, invisible but still discernible this way. Can many pray? See what the 3-3-3 pattern shares. It's 5-5-5, one on each side of it. And they share that too. Invisible but still discernible in demonstration to us all ways. So what are sexes about? Same thing as what cell division by one amoeba or whatever it was, one single cell organism, or I'm not a doctor, not please form intersciences. The algorithm is about this. It's this identity's identity of relationship to itself, distinctly as distinctly and non-distinctly as the identity of space, and as the identity of forever nature, of forever, as its nature, simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly, as the one that is that and that simultaneously, and as the one that is the volume greater than that, from since before that. What KRS might call the bridge, the original bridge. What is the trinity? This is correlation nature. This is inseparable, the identity of relationship it has into all parts of itself. This is the identity of the order to the finite. This is the identity of the order to what is active. This is the identity of the order to what is progressive. They're not letting this understood because they're charging the name charging it negative as pseudo positive, criminal, seditious nature, or positive. The name Jesus Christ and the name um, Muhammad, Rasulullah, Alhamdulillah. The messengers of modern religions, including there are proofs, in other words, that Indian religion or religions, I'm sure how many, if they have, but then in other words, reincarnation. This demonstrates, this science about how we are, this science reveals we are one nature or volume is only increasing as a forever nature, which we are. Only the extent of it is debatable. See, him recorded is that intersciences, we have this being debated offensively. See, those are the kind of, and where it has how it counts and where it's being exploited, not by accident in relationship to people, justifying it with valuing, like in other words, for how WFSB is involved with West Farms Mall and with a whole bunch of how like cereal and things like that, serious things there. They don't have the integrity. They have science as a fake, as a theater, as a suit and tie, fake integrity. So they don't have answers because they're not by accident. They don't have means to nature because they're divided, grouped, wrong, negative value nature. Nature, which is identity of relationship to itself, positive or negative, as that nature of volume that identity is. See, we have yin yang, alpha and omega. You can't separate yin yang, which is still invisible but discernible. Identity and identity of relationship to itself. But to discern that is a science within as a quality of fact keeping nature that is prevented. It's free speech, so it's revelations. Instant means one way redeems. So we have some people say, "Oh, you should talk nice." Of course. See, but they're taking out of the context. They're attaching people who don't yet didn't yell in context where they didn't, and they're making pretend they did into databases. We have all kinds of falsified police reports rackets, and I'm not even being charged with it. I'm not. In other words, these are people offensively of crimes against each age of fact, cheap nature. What they call the intelligence community here and in every modern nation is recorded. Criminally foreign influence, delusions raw, victim predators, high predators with time. For example, with the quality and with the value of our human nature, actually, with the value of people, regardless of if they have a job or not, actually, because because this is also an offensive extortion method that is keeping natures of indifference to and worse as the stewards, wherein as and how it counts, where they're going to have where they effectively maintain each of the sciences self-valued abridged with their quality of fact cheaping nature in relationship to unceasing negative value nature progressions acts and natures, them recorded roles with them effectively breaching organized crime method maintained blamed on other things others themselves, not by accident. Wake sent his elves this way alone. So this is how to both afford the means to have areas liberated. See, areas only know how to have security that they're going to have enough people to do in case someone gets sick, in case someone gets systems, things like that, healthcare where it's real. See, but we have these platforms involved with fact cheating nature racket anomaly originally still, especially with psychology. They're recorded involved with intercampuses organized crime method that knew that once they had them valuing what is the bridged constitution, self-valued, they would have to hide life progressions in a stayed way. They would have to be standing predators, whereas in how accounts fact cheating nature as pseudo positive. So, and with all the means to keep warm evil, see, hot and cold evil, especially in poverty. Even poverty, they need heat. I don't know how people survive undercover, but they also, I mean, homeless, but they also have that juxtaposed undercover. They have foreign and domestic associated with medical campuses. Whole bunch of private and standing sources of WFSB, Fox Connecticut News. Come on, stop fighting. Stop stacking federal crimes and sustain crimes with kids. You guys took pictures of a little girl crying to hide your life progressions, faking passions and emotions. Recorded. Because the sequence shifts reveal you guys with also forging names, switching names, crime rolls into branch. Those are crime methods used individually and grouped. No, and then all together. So consciously. That was also the people that were involved intercampuses, intercities, crime acts through time with people from my town that didn't even go to my school, involved with federal crimes, with the databases in my school, with the narratives with it. These people are painting narratives that then they rely on later. So we have the sensibilities of everybody. You think this is, I know the experience, so I know how it works. In other words, that's why they have all these people associated with on and off stop and shop associated with child offenders further, with a whole bunch of foreign and domestic families associated with a whole bunch of immoral people, a whole bunch of people as and tied to a Kerr family, a whole bunch of people with and tied to places like where they interbranch go with like bowling alleys. Fact sheet nature roles and reactions, then they invest the insurance investigators. Then they invest them to humor roles because they have the ad companies with timed ad placements involved with child offenders. The same ones with the investigators of the Trade Center attack involved with these child offender roles. Same ones involved with Sandy Hook. From there, with the interbranch campuses and people with federal crimes on and off the state judicial branch offices, with a whole bunch of people associated with the FINSAs and with WFSB, federal, and a whole bunch of nature of federal crimes with child offenders, offenders of each age, federal crimes with a whole bunch of people tied to to and as co-defendants of former director of the FBI, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated about a whole bunch of natures of child abuses with kids in my area through time, and within this intercities and intercampuses, and tied to on off campus untimely deaths they use for other natures of crime. Identity theft, touch media, fake conversations, fake natures of relationships to people, especially ones that they use a whole bunch of people interstates with the name Alicia, a whole bunch of women that were girls they involved with that, men and women that used the name Bobby, involved on and off CCSU, involved a whole bunch of people with Charlie Bowes. I don't know Charlie Bowes and if who his sister and family, though they pretended other. And these are people who pretended other with Washington, D.C. Trade Center cliques involved criminally with Weathersfield, Connecticut. A whole bunch of people with CCSU on and off it involved crimes with a whole bunch of nations. Then they pretend to be against that. They're and election crimes because they're uses of town offices. A whole bunch of child abuse, but other than these are verbal federal crimes, mail crime methods, wire crime methods. The like that you can get a woman CIA or FBI or their family involved with sick natures of crimes and people. Like for example, associated with this Joshua Julian, associated with Anthony Eggman, associated with this Leahy family, involved with federal, a whole bunch of doctors, foreign and domestic, and overt criminal enterprises with them with various natures of courts, with all kinds of natures of federal crimes. They name stack people while they're pretending they had conversations with me and with others. These are real sick punks. Now, the lawyer, former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, Robert Chevery, he's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated criminally involved with a whole bunch of natures of courts with areas crimes, like on off West Farms Mall, associated with whatever they have, with a whole bunch of nations associated with these people, and with this Chris Walters. And they have names forging and switching and misspelling and tricks like that because they're using time treatments always criminally. They're using passions, fake passions and emotions tied to their sequence shifts. See, then they use the recorded involved with torture methods and extortion methods and offensive evidence reception crimes, all come bunch of natures of identity theft, crimes against each age of fact treatment nature, our formal fact treatment natures on off these campuses through time, intermilitary through time. I just remind, see Logic's scores. All drop the floors, boxings. They also recorded and confessed using narratives with the movies and things like that. They have a sustained pathology, interstate, sickly, distinctly, and non-distinctly manifest with all the psychology involved with Washington, D.C. Trade Center manifested their areas, other states, areas, and criminally from foreign influence originally still, the fact treatment nature wise. So we have our American history now that told. We have people using color still. You can't defend that and also at the same time. Those kind of sick predator natures and convictions need to hide that offensively as victim predators, so they pretend they're about voting. They pretend they're about democracy. They pretend they're about being Republican or liberal or conservative. They're unliberated yet. Let's not forget. They really are incapable of speaking about how we are extended abroad and here. All victim predators only caring about money. Oh, I think they're then their theater with where they donate and things like that. All those charities and things like that leveraged against the nature we need to have. In other words, our fact treatment nature is value, is the nature of volume, which affects our fact treatments. These are our time treatments. This is a forever nature we are. Nature. Everything is forever nature. From the bond. So we draw. And then we put the simultaneously means and we show how this leads us. It's already there. The identity, the science is shared. What to say, what we need to know, how to answer our questions. It's there. People say, "Oh, well, some people I speak this way. Some people speak this way. Some people speak this way." They're attaching me and others to fake words through time in sustained ways. This is what keeps all the people associated with the police forms, whatever they have, underground or whatever, with West Farms Mall. They shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be playing these punk games with CCSU, with Trinity College, from off campuses involved with former director of the FBI, whole bunch of people, federal criminals, with child offenders, with WFSB, Fox Connecticut News. Fix the fake conversation with me. Say sorry to the people. Interbranch families that pretend they had conversations with me, associated with these medical families, associated with them too. Avert crimes with gangs, drugs, avert federal evidences, crimes with overt criminal enterprises, personally involved with them criminally, with a whole bunch of federal criminal co-defendants, a former director of the FBI, and people associated in federal criminals and their family members. And one of them had a daughter in my grade, involved with a whole bunch of people that had their hands in, involved with the Kerr family and with the DeMoro family and with a whole bunch of people like Carone brothers, things like that, associated with CCSU. with criminal justice, with database crime roles as victims, victim predators. Then Fox Connecticut News also recorded, confessed, and demonstrate federal crime roles with a whole bunch of people with WFSB and other news, with FBI, a whole bunch of FBI, a whole bunch of CIA with federal crimes, with child offenders even. Them pretending they had conversations with strangers to cover the lie progressions that they can't maintain needed per federal crime methods they use through the kids. Suppose beginning with the confessions from Tim O'Brien and his brother Andy O'Brien with interbranch family members, people associated with Sandy Hook now, other natures of lobbyists and stuff like that, sick natures of roles with child abuses, with religious spots through times, inter types of it, fake sides that they use, staged scenarios and collusion, the fake, fake difference, but same quality of fact, cheaping nature convictions maintained. Because when someone needs free speech, needs to use free speech to say, look, those aren't you're lying about my rights. Because we have police forms and branches, interbranch, criminally foreign influence, there and here, modern nations at once. So to hide, they exploit that to keep that exploited. This is how they originally forced worse than negotiated with terrorism or to organized crime method. So we have no science. So we have free speech. It doesn't matter, especially it's sick breaching tool to have people pretending they're about that voting is something it's not. Pretend that democracy is something it's not. Pretend that being conservative is something as not. Nothing's being conserved. Nature's going downhill, downhill, down to semi-ancient times. That's all it's going to do. It's going to demonstrate negative value, nature, progression, tax, and natures. And this is designed, already had that valued in layers, blamed other things, others and self. Can't speculate. This brings all kinds of natures of reliefs to insurance impositions. They won't even have to. How many things we stop this way? This recorded. There's the organized crime method that is the cause, really, of and rolls with it, blaming the group problems on other things other than themselves. It's not, right through generations, everyone's standing out saying, I'm this gang, that. Even if they're saying, joking around, then the rest of their life, they're just writing down fake. These are worse than criminals, victim predators. These are natures of roles with fact cheating nature as identities of the law that are using the identity of the law to prevent them from being even properly cared for. And as pretending they're cared for it by forcing quality of fact cheating nature punk fights. Because they have the physical delusions, criminally foreign influence, fact cheating nature relationships to their value investments, their state streams going of money going locals, the nationals, internationals, invested. This is it. So these are criminally foreign influence zoning laws. These are not means. These are the one-way redeems. 10. Campus Marcy calls you home again.